Hello friends, and welcome to another episode of the Urban Homesteading channel, where we're doing woodworking, comedy and cooking shows. If this is the first time you're visiting with us, we want to extend to you a very warm welcome. If you have been here before, welcome back. We appreciate you visiting again. If today is your birthday, we want to wish you a very happy birthday. Today we're going to tackle a simple project, but a very useful one.
You always say simple.
I don't always say simple. We've recently made some pretty complex.
We have.
But this today is going to be simple, so probably we're going to screw it up. I mean,
This is what I'm saying. You shouldn't use that word.
Well, it is like the 5-minute fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever assembled something that in the box says easy assembly? And it took you like 3 days?
They lie.
Yeah.
They lie.
So we are going to attempt to make a simple project. How about that?
Yes.
And will be something that doing it yourself not only will save you money, because this specific thing, people want to ask a lot of money because it's for your pet.
Yes.
So if it is for your pet,
Hundreds of dollars.
And we're going to make a little platform for your cat or your dog or your iguana or whatever animal you have to be elevated enough to see out of a window or potentially to even come up on your bed. We don't allow our pet on the bed, but Alpida does.
You don't, but I do.
So some people do, some people don't. That's okay, but this is versatile, right? It can be either a platform. If you have a cat, he might like to be on top of there to sleep. Cats like to sleep in high places, right? So a multi-function.
And customizable to your situation.
Right. Again, we're going to show you every step. We're going to attempt to build it using scraps. I said attempt. So we don't plan to go and buy material, but we'll see if that will work out.
And we do have some material that was purchased for another project, so we can make use of that as well.
We have scrap. Let's be honest, right?
We do, yeah.
So
we should have plenty here. Is our point.
Right. So we're going to show you everything, and we're going to tell you our design as we go along. So we rated our scrap wood, and we find an off-cut piece we have from a different project. Actually, that was from our chair.
Yeah.
And this will make a very nice profile, right? And we're going to use that, and we're going to rip it in half because we don't want it 2 inches wide. It won't look right, right? So this will be our front and the back, or only the front? Okay. And then we have another 2x4. We are going to cut in dimension. And we're going to tell you the full dimensions in the end. We're going to tell you exactly our dimensions if you want to copy it. Because we can find dog beds or dog, what do you want to call it? Beds, I guess.
Yeah, beds, mats.
That dimension. So that's all there is to it. It's really up to you. If you want to make your own, then you can make it any size you want. Okay? So after some time spending looking at pieces of wood, right? Elpida? And recalculating things, because we want our pet to get on the platform on the side to minimize the space that it takes. So we have to turn things around. Probably I'm confusing people more than because they didn't know what we're doing. Anyway, we spent some time.
It's a platform with stairs for him to access it. And initially we were talking about putting this on the front so that he could access it this way. And then I realized I really want the stairs on the side. So it's more like a piece of furniture against the wall instead of coming out into the room. So we've now adjusted so that this will be the side allowing for entry. And we'll have more straight up pieces like this that will be for the side.
So probably the easiest thing to do is to cut the pieces and show you a dry fit.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that then, because just looking at the pieces of wood might be hard explaining. So let us go to the saw and cut things.
Ready?
Move your...
I am. I'm not starting the saw yet. I just wanted to get it on the right mark.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Ready? Ready?
Be that close. Yeah. Give me a little bit backwards. And here is an example why you need a riving knife. You see how we start here with a nice curve? See what happens as we move forward the cut, right? There it's actually closed. It is cut through, right, fully. I don't know if LP can open it actually. There. But without the riving knife, it would definitely would have kicked back. And I did feel it. In fact, the saw stopped. Right, we lost a little power. It tripped the breaker, because as you can see, that is not by any stretch wide enough for the blade to go through.
Right.
So the next thing, now that we've cut it this dimension, we're going to cut it to height. Okay.
You need to flip it, because that's the side I want. There we go.
All right, so we're going to start. Again, my birthday is kind of Mrs. Wizard. We need an assembly table. Okay. We don't have the assembly table to do a full dry fit, but we want to show you the general idea, right? And you can see it there.
So this would be the front of it that faces out into the room. That side would be the part that goes against the
And
wall.
of course, it's parallel, right?
Yep. And this side and this side are going to be, parallel with
The ones with the curve are sides,
right.
and the straight ones are front and back.
And then the
Right.
stairs will come down one side or the other.
We're making the stairs removable. No?
Right. So they can be used either side.
Right. And technically, they can be used in the front too, but.
They could, yeah.
So we decided to make the connections using pocket screws, because again, we're going to have a bed inside. The pocket screws will not be visible, and it is the cleanest way we can do it, right? Now, because this is dimensional lumber scrap, we have a slight variation in width between the boards, right? So in some cases we have 3/4, in the other case we have half. When you're using pocket screws and you have a little variation like that, you need to set your jig to the smallest thickness, right? To ensure you're not going to go through. Did that make sense?
Yep. And
So-
we've set ours at
1/2.
1/2. And you use the top of the little tiny
Yep. This ledge here.
bit piece,
Yep. There.
and that's what
And
you
then
line up.
Use your set there
Your
to
collar.
make sure the collar stays in place.
Yep.
And this actually controls the angle and how deep you're going in the wood, how high in the wood. And this setting controls how deep it's going to go in the next piece, right? That's why you have two settings.
Right. And they are in this project they are going to be the same.
Yeah, that is not true in every project.
Right.
Okay, let us commence. I would use two, no?
I think one is enough, don't you?
Well, you can rotate. If you use one, use them in different positions so it won't rotate.
well,
One
these-
is fine.
These two together is
Well, you're wider than that, though.
Want me to use a different hole for that one?
Yeah, otherwise you would want to rotate.
Is that too close, do you think?
No, you're fine. You're wider than it. So we're using our favorite clamps to hold the two pieces together while we are going to see if we need to make more of those things or the calculations we make are accurate, right? Did it come through?
No.
Okay, so our calculations were correct.
Okay.
We'll repeat that 3 more times and we're going to have a frame. And when you do this, try to keep the factory edge if you have a factory edge, right?
So this was our factory edge, and we keep it. So let's see how this fits.
So our supervisors arrived to make sure we're doing the job right, which means they're going to delay our progress by,
Significant amount of time.
yeah, but they are cute, right?
They're very cute.
So
And
we,
what we're building is for this one.
correct. See, we're doing this for you, so don't delay us, right?
He says, I don't know what you're saying.
Right. But I'm here with you and I'm happy, so.
And supervisor number 2,
Having a snack? Dude, what are you eating? No, no, no.
it's fiber.
But it could be plastic.
No, there is no plastic in the shop,
Really? What's
Whatever.
this?
not plastic. So we put a liberal amount of glue on our frame, and now we're going to put a piece of plywood on top, and we're going to use some brads to hold it in place, right? So you might have noticed that as I was using the staple gun, I was going at different angles, right? I went this way, and then I went this way. And the reason for that, remember we did a video about why you should not nail in straight, contrary to popular advice. If these were very straight, it takes very little pressure to get them out, right? But by doing them at an angle, as you can see, it makes it harder to get them out. So the correct way to nail and brand nail is at an angle, not straight. So the things that you've thought in the past are wrong. Don't do them. We're going to do the missing piece here the same way, with a different part of plywood scrap, and that will complete the platform, right? The general rule when you use a saw is that if you are longer than you are wide, you do a cut without the fence, right? You use the miter gauge. And when you're using, or when you turn it the other way, so when you are longer than wide, right, then you use the fence.
So we can adjust that in.
Does it make sense? All right.
Why
That's-
is that?
It's because it makes it more stable. But you never use the fence and the miter at the same time. That is a very dangerous way to do it. Even though it can be done successfully.
Okay.
All right. Everyone ready? So what you saw happen is something moved and Elpida immediately stopped pushing forward and I turned the saw off, right? And Elpida, what moved? Did you figure out?
Yeah, it was the table, it wasn't locked.
Okay.
Extension.
So we know 2 things about electric table saws. They don't work without power. You need to plug them in. And when they have lockable things, you need to lock them.
Yes, indeed.
That's
All
a
right.
good tip. Write that one down.
Right.
Ready?
Yep.
So if you want coasters or drink covers for your soap to protect your drink, we're going to sell you the Urban Homesteading coaster drink lid for $2.50. Let us know below. And if you happen to have a lot of batteries that they are the old style that you don't use because they don't keep their charge and they don't last as long in the tube, you can very, very effectively use them as weights when you do glue ups, right? Again, the level of technology we use at this channel is amazing, isn't it?
You use what you got.
So here we are. We have the pieces cut for our little steps, our stairs. And keep in mind, this doesn't have to be extremely strong. We are over-engineering it again. Will be a very light dog going up and down this, right? They're not intended for humans,
He's a medium dog.
but we're building them enough for a human to go up. I mean, we're going to attach it with screws, 2 screws per side, 4 screws, that is plenty of strength. In any case, a couple of things of your angles. Make sure that your angles are opposing, right? Don't ask us how we know that.
Yeah.
And then decide, it's a matter of, if you're building stairs for people, there are regulations, there is code. When you're building them for a dog, there is not a doggy code. So
Not that we're aware of.
you go with what you like, what looks good to you, right?
Right?
So a couple of things that you need to know. This is a 1x4 board, which means that your steps have to be wider, right? Because when you go on an angle, as you can see, this is wider, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we are going
Let's
to,
demonstrate that. Yep. See? So if you put it at an angle like that, you're going to have a wider board than the
So that
original.
tells you what the difference is
Yep.
there.
so what we did is we ripped a 1x6 to the correct dimension, right?
Yep.
If you use the 1x4, I guess you can use it, but it will be a much shorter step.
Yeah. It won't look as good, I don't think.
Right, no, you want it to look the same.
Matter of personal preference there, but for me, that would not look good.
Of course, if you only have 1x4, the other option is to cut your stringer so the width is the 3.5,
Right.
right? I mean,
Right.
does it make sense?
We're not notching ours, so.
No, we're not notching anything. Again, if we're doing a human stair, probably I would put a step here, so it would be even stronger. But for this stair, we don't need that.
You would do, what would you do to create, you would do use your dado blade, right?
Right,
To create a
or a
groove,
router, yeah,
to put a channel.
like we did when we built the chair.
Yeah.
And that makes it much stronger. All right, so let us start assembling, and we're going to show you that process in a moment. So we're now assembling the steps, and we have created quite a complicated situation here, but we're using our table saw stop fence as a stop to make sure that everything keeps square and parallel. Right, ladies?
Mm-hmm.
And then we're attaching it with screws, and we are using a square there to make sure that we are in the right position. This is a hard thing to do, right?
It is a hard thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
Drilling pilot holes to make sure we don't split the wood, and then.
right, the difficult part is that this is an angle and it's hard to visualize
Right.
where it is. Here's our small staircase, right? And as you can see, we use just screws on the side. Now, you will build a human staircase exactly the same way, with the exception you're going to use 2x instead of 1x material. And in here, you will create dados for the,
So the step would slide into that space,
Right.
the dado space, to help support it.
which actually makes it easier to align,
Right? That too.
but anyway.
Details.
But what do you guys think of this?
This is good.
It's
Okay.
good. Yeah.
Looks good.
And we think two are enough for our purposes. So the next step will be to finish the platform.
Yep.
Okay. So we decided we want our steps to be separate from the platform, but you can definitely design it with the steps being the same part, right?
Attached.
Can attach. So we added these elements, these little legs, and we're going to attach them with screws. And now we're doing the dry fit to make sure that everything fits correctly. So the next step will be to attach it with 2 screws on each leg. So here we are, and we are doing the final attachment of the legs to the stirrups.
Stirrups.
That's a new word.
I don't know what a stirrup is.
And
but
of
we
course,
got one.
we are using a square to make sure everything is nice and straight. And we did cut a little bit here just for aesthetic purposes, right?
Right.
So everything is flush. So that's the only adjustment we made. So what are we doing here? We're making a little shelf for screws to go in, so they're not going to be visible, even though they're going to be inside, right? Actually, it's more about us using the screws we have, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also it's good practice, especially for furniture and such, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, now it is in.
Is it in enough yet?
You can do a little more. Maybe we need to do 2. I don't know. Okay. Now we'll probably need 2, or let's do them first on and see if we need supports.
Here.
Our platform is still upside down. We use a piece of scrap plywood on top of the pieces of scrap plywood we use for the platform
Put on the bottom.
to get this joint strengthened, right?
Right, to cover the seam and make it stronger, yeah.
And we simply glued it and put weights on it. Each leg, we have 4 legs, is attached with a screw, and if needed we can reinforce this with blocks. That's what they're called, right? You see that many times in tables that they use blocks, right? All right, so now will be time for the pa-pa-pa-pa-pam. Let's see how poorly we did.
The moment of truth.
The moment of truth. And here is our finished project. And as you can see, we achieved what we were going for, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have nice stairs that can be moved in either direction, so you know.
Right.
And of course, you can even move to the front, right?
You could. We just decided to make use for this profile of a piece of wood that we already had, and it made a really nice profile for either end. Okay, come here, James. James, come here. Need you to try your new spot.
Come here.
Come on.
Atlas, come here.
All right, Jamesy, up, come on, up the stairs, come on. Yep, come on, good boy, up, come on. Up, yes, good boy, come on. Good boy, yes, good boy, lay down, down, no, lay down. Yes, good boy, yes. Okay, yeah, see,
He doesn't need the stairs, but
he's gonna need it a little more sturdy than that, but.
so as you know, usually you do not see 4 legs just standing straight, and part of that is because the device, the chair, the table, whatever that they are on, tends to be a little wobbly. Is the correct term wobbly?
Mm-hmm.
There are 2 ways to correct that. You can either connect the legs using a, what do you call it, a little
Brace.
skirting,
Cross brace.
right? And that actually would look good. What do you think, Mr. Peter?
I was thinking something like that, yeah.
Going around. Or you can use blocking, which keep the look as it is, and it simply provides more support. It almost clamps the piece in there. So either way is appropriate, and it is a matter of choice. So what are we doing? Are we doing blocking, or you want to do?
Let's start with the blocks and see what we think, how it works out, and if we still need to do the other, we can.
Okay, and that's the idea of how blocking works. Okay. So we decided to put the blocking, and we made the blocking simply by using a scrap 2x3, right? And then cutting the dimension of our leg off, as you can see in this detail here. And actually it made an immediate visible difference, right? It feels very secure. So we'll do another dog test.
Come on, up. Come on, get up here. Come on,
Let's see if the person we made the thing for will come up.
come on, up. Come on. Yes, good boy. Good boy. Yes. Lay down. Lay down. Good boy. Yes.
And here we are.
Good boy. Yeah.
Of course, we're going to put a little bed there, right?
Yeah, of course.
It won't be this hard. And I don't know, are we going to finish it or this is the color?
I'm gonna finish it, but I'm gonna paint it.
Okay.
I decided I'm gonna make it a really beautiful color.
You mean, are you implying it's not beautiful right now?
Well, I just like really bright colors,
Okay, excellent.
buddy. Good boy.
We don't have the appropriate bed for him yet, but you're getting an idea of what this is going to look. The appropriate bed is going to look perfect, right?
Yeah, and he totally got the idea now that the bed is there.
You don't have to tell me twice to be a ham.
Jamesy.
He is a happy camper, isn't he?
Yeah. King of the hill. Do you like that?
Well, friends, this is our finished product, and it pretty much came the way we envisioned it, right? What do you
Yeah.
think, Elpida? It is nice, usable. Elpida will finish it to match her decor, right?
Mm-hmm.
James approved of it.
Yes, indeed. He claimed
So-
it.
Again, you can have this either part of the bed or separate. Having it separate allows for easier transportation, right?
Of course, yeah.
So, but you can definitely do it any way you prefer.
And also that means that you have a little more options about where you put it in your house. So
Right.
if you need to move it, you can change where the steps are placed.
And that's the thing of the DIY. Not only that, but when you put it in a different spot, that it is more convenient for the ladder to be there. You don't
Right.
have any problems. You can do it any way you want.
Right.
So we're happy. What do you think, Mrs. Wizard?
I really like it. I think it's very attractive. You know, it needs some finishing, but it's functional, and he approves. So that's the biggest piece.
And our cost was da-da-da-da-dan, $0.
Well, it's stuff that we had in the shop. Yeah.
Right. So that makes our effective cost $0 because we always calculate that stuff when we give our cost.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we wanted to show you that using scraps, you can make something nice and useful. Right?
Yep.
And truthfully, we did not use anything we didn't have. We had the screws. We made some design decisions because of what we had, right? But something like that is easy to make. We happen to have it, right? But this is an easy,
Right.
if you have a bandsaw, it's an easy thing to make, and it works really nicely. It gives it a little better, what you would call it, a better look. It doesn't look just like a square box, right?
Right.
And technically, you can use that in all corners if you want it. To have the
You-
whole area looking like
Yeah.
that. In any case, we hope we gave you enough information to do this project yourself if you so desire, right? We used, let's see, a part of a 1x6,
Yep.
parts of 1x4,
Yep.
pieces of scrap plywood, and pieces of scrap wood period, right? That we
Yeah.
mix
We had
and
some
match.
2x2s.
And because we use scrap, we just have to rip more than we normally would, right? We have to rip boards to make them the same dimensions so everything will match. But if you consider that these are like 6 or 7 different types of wood, it still looks very nice,
Oh yeah.
I think.
And this type of thing, finding them online they're hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, $500 is actually
Yeah.
the one that we kind of styled this on. I mean, we put our own spin on it, but we found one that they want $500. And if any of you wants this for $500, just let me know. We can make that happen, and we can custom make it for you, right? You give us the dimensions you want, we'll make it for you. Anyway, friends, we hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, we'd appreciate a thumbs up. Also, if you enjoy our videos, buy us a coffee. The link is below. Also, if you enjoy our work, Let us know in comments below. The algorithm really loves that when you let us in comments know what is.
Well, we like to know it too.
Yeah,
Not just the
is
algorithm.
a nice thing. Share, subscribe if you have not done so for more awesome content like this every weekend and midweeks. From Dr. Wizard and Pizza and Mrs. Wizard, put your masks on. If you're not vaccinated yet, get vaccinated and keep your distance at 6 feet or 2 cows apart. So we are going to see you again next Sunday. Stay safe, friends.